I wanted to try something a wee bit different, since it has been a minute. Well, like, how many months? Oh, that has been a while. No point in crying over spilt, procrastinating and getting distracted by every little shiny thing out there and not sitting down to doing something I actually claim to enjoy. Aye, so anyway, here's some Cyberpunk lore. Morgan Blackhand was an absolute legend, arguably one of the greatest solos that's ever graced Night City. Before diving into that, let's look into what made him such a Chad. Blackhand was born in Brooklyn, but none of that matters much. His story really doesn't kick off till he joined the US military in the 1980s. He had a wild moment as a rookie where his commander went full cyber psycho during a mission. Our man Blackhand had to take him down and take charge of his cyber soldier unit. It was moments like this it made it real clear that Blackhand had real grit. But as we know, war never changes, but sometimes it does take a break. And Blackhand was discharged from the military. He was an elite soldier with a wealth of skills in explosives, guns, combat, which left him in a tough spot when he couldn't find a job. After months of shenanigans, Blackhand was at a loss. But as they say, when one door closes, a chimney opens. Yeah, that seems right. Morgan ran into a booster gang leader who immediately hated Blackhand. Man, he really just couldn't catch a break. Morgan, being a gun-toting badass, took down the leader with relative ease. All in view of a military recruiter who made him an offer he couldn't refuse, aka an actual job. Like, we just talked about how he was unemployed, living on the streets, so yeah, job offer, good. Woo! This turned Blackhand from an unemployed bum to a merc for Militic. Talk about a glow up. But you can't become a Night City legend without some street cred, and Morgan did this by teaching other mercs his tricks of the trade and pulling off some pretty high profile jobs. There was one job in particular that really elevated Blackhand, and that was the kidnapping of Kerry Eurodyne in 2019. Blackhand was sent in to rescue Eurodyne. He completed the job, but what really set him apart was that he managed to do it without killing anybody, and even captured all the kidnappers, handing them over to the federal authorities. Blackhand was eventually rated as the #1 solo professional in the biz by Solo of Fortune Annual 2020 Awards. He would then go on to write the Enforcer's Handbook, which sold millions of copies. Who would have seen merc turned writer? Living the high life as a published author didn't last. As the fourth corporate war came around, and Militech dragged Blackhand back into the fray to lead their Ocean War Special Ops team. Wow, that is a mouthful. Sadly, we have no information on what happened on these missions. With Militech funding, Blackhand was able to subcontract a bunch of highly skilled and motivated freelancers who would only answer to him. Militech's ongoing war with Arasaka eventually led to the bombing of Arasaka Tower in Night City, where Blackhand was joined by everyone's favourite rocker boy, Johnny Silverhand. Blackhand's Strike Team Omega served as backup to Silverhand's Strike Team Alpha. But this is where things get a bit twisted. As we find out the events of this mission from Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk 2077, who claimed to get in a fight with Adam Smasher and was captured at the top of Arasaka Tower. But in fact, it was Blackhand who fought with Smasher, as they were long-standing rivals, and this was potentially their last chance to kill each other. As the fight began, the bomb went off, and nobody knows what happens after that. Since that day, no one truly knows what happened to Blackhand, and his body was never found. There were rumours though. The most prevalent was that he went back to President Cress and began to work for them as a secret agent. There was a couple of unconfirmed sightings of our Morgan in several first wave cities, but sadly nothing concrete. As of right now, no one has a clue where Blackhand is or if he's still around, but there was a report of a massacre in Japantown where a bunch of Lazarus agents were found dead. The sole survivor described the attacker as a portly man with a black cyber arm. So after all that, we're still no closer to knowing if he's still around, leaving us with more mysteries, like why did Johnny lie about what actually happened at Arasaka Tower, and why didn't Rogue say anything about it? It's all rather suspicious, but maybe one day Blackhand will step back into the light. If not, we're still left with the legacy of the greatest solo that ever did biz.